brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Settle in for a bit. This is another Suds segment where our motto is drink, belch, and repeat. Today is a brewery episode. A brewery takeover episode. Yeah, that thing.
We're really quiet.
I know.
What's
Come on.
What's going on?
We're wrapped with attention.
Oh, okay.
We're wrapped with attention? Okay.
Yeah. Me too.
I was just trying to be good.
I actually am.
Yeah.
He's right.
She's crumbling under the pressure, though.
Dave, concentrate on the big words, all right?
Crumbled. I'm
Get the broom.
crumbled.
Get
I'm
the broom.
crumbled.
I've
All
got
right.
a big word for you, Mike.
I was getting excited to say that it's a brewery takeover episode. Yay.
Yay. There we go.
All right. Fine.
The
Jeez.
most like. There we go.
And we're alive, folks. So I am good old Gal Julieanna, and with me today at the table is good old boy Dave.
You sure look like a master to me.
The master of what? Are you the master of your domain, Dave?
I might be.
That was good.
I know. I had to take the hit.
You walked into the bullet, man.
though.
You're the one that pushed the button.
Haters gonna hate.
Wow.
There you go.
There it
That's what you
is.
get.
That's what you get,
That's
Mike.
what you
That's
get.
all I can come back with.
Okay.
Good old boy Kendall. Hi. Love that shirt.
Oh, yeah. Let me look down which shirt am I wearing. Yeah, my very tie-dyed Sierra Nevada shirt that I picked up at the tap room over
That's
in Mills
fancy.
River.
You're so trendy.
Yep. Love
Because
it.
everything's
But it's
about
summery. It's
Yeah.
It's a very summery shirt.
It is. It is.
And it's a beautiful day to be here.
Did it come with a hacky sack?
It did not. That was
it.
extra.
Oh.
Dang it.
Although they do have hacky sacks for
I
sale.
wish-
They do. It was a strong possibility.
Yes. My youth is back.
This would be the saddest hacky sack circle ever.
Oh, we would. I'd break a hip. I'd break a hip.
Well, we'd have to do it with hair. Like every time, the sack hit the ground, it's like it'd be like drink.
Yeah.
Well, as you get older, that
I
tends
was
to
never
happen.
never too skilled
It's
at
like
the hacky
1,
sack.
2, drink, and then and then it'd be 1 and drink, and then like 20 minutes, we'd just all be laying down on the ground
Yeah.
going.
We should probably
20 minutes?
What were we doing again?
We should probably just hand it to each other.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, just go around handed back and forth.
That's the only way I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure Mike's sack's
I'm more of
already hit
those.
the ground.
I'm
but
more of the Velcro things. The paddles with the Velcro things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
Yeah.
That's as close to hacky sack as I
like
can
an
get.
S&M kind
It's
of.
like a beach thing, but yeah, it could be an S&M thing.
It's like pickleball for idiots.
Put that ball right in your mouth, boy. Sorry. It got weird.
And we're off the rails at 4 minutes in.
Off the
Hey.
Bring out the gimp.
I'm glad we're overachieving again.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, speaking of overachievers, right? Hey, good old boy Mike.
I am here. Hang on a second. We'll fix that in post.
You asked for it.
Yep. I'm here again.
Okay.
Enough
Yeah.
said.
You sound like me now.
And there's that.
Yes, I am Dave.
I am present.
And speaking of which, Mr. Funkadelic himself,
That's right.
good old boy Caperton.
Good old boy Caperton's here with his Funkadelic t-shirt
With
on.
his new, view of beer going. I'm only going
no.
for 3 or 4 styles of beer.
Let's not make it official.
Okay, all right.
He's
So
becoming.
you're saying you
I
don't
don't
want to
wanna-
immortalize the moment
I don't want to
with a
screw up
microphone?
all the sort of goodwill that I've built
No.
up in
All
the
right,
beer
okay.
community.
no burning bridges today.
Wow.
Dear Caperton, your goodwill in our community is crap.
Yeah, I don't want to go lower than I already am.
Jeez. Okay, well, as I mentioned earlier, today is a brewery takeover episode, which I'm really excited about, and it's about Edmunds Oast. It's a brewery and restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina. Good old boy Tim, who sadly is not here today, first introduced us to this beer. Well, their beer, these beers, whatever. But they've recently started distributing to Nashville. So yay for us.
Yay for Nashville.
We picked up a few things and we're going to give them a try today. But first, this SUDS segment is brought to you by
Odoron. Hey, it's a new world out there and new rules apply. You want to be a good citizen and you want to follow the rules, but sometimes it's hard to keep the distance in social distancing. That's where Odoron comes in. This odorant, doesn't come in traditional scents like baby powder or spring rain. Odoron comes in scents like sweaty socks, sour milk, and my favorite, hint o' vomit. Woo, that's pungent. So when you're ready to get out of the house, but you want to keep that 6-foot perimeter, wear the spray that makes them stay away. Odoron.
I want some of that.
Does that come in a 6-ounce for roadkill?
Oh, yeah.
I like my roadkill to be just like Southern Arkansas. You know, just it's
illiterate banned again.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you know,
Banned once again.
right. It's almost Oklahoma, but not quite there. You know, it's just
Oh.
Well, that's 2.
Banned once again.
Any other states while we're at it?
Go for Texas and get the trifecta?
Keep up.
I don't know. There's a lot of people in Texas that already hate us, so I just want to make sure there was a part of the country that I haven't called out on anything, and I'm just saying that I like the roadkill in Southern Arkansas. That's a good thing.
A lot of people do. It keeps the restaurant industry
I
alive.
just think that, you know, there's a commercial viability of having odorant of Southern Arkansas.
That's my squirrel.
Okay. All right.
Back to the beer.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Now that everybody's appetite's all worked up.
Wait until she says this next line.
Charleston, South Carolina, also known as the Holy City.
No,
What?
That's one of the.
It is.
The Holy City?
Yeah. Isn't there even a
it's full of
brewery?
holes, dude. They have potholes
Well, that's
everywhere.
Yeah.
what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even have a brewery.
Good
right?
luck.
Holy
Yeah.
City Brewery.
Holy City Brewery. I get
Yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
But
I get it now.
There you go,
Thank
Captain.
you.
You're getting
I
that
thought
one.
that was from
Well-
another country.
Charleston is a beautiful southern city on the Atlantic coast. It's friendly people, scenic views, and it's got a reputation for hospitality that make it a great place to visit. Edmunds Oast is a terrific example of why Charleston is so popular with visitors from all over. Hey, good old boy Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit more about them?
Sure. Edmunds Oast actually consists of 3 businesses, a restaurant, a brewery, and Edmunds Oast Exchange, a wine and beer retailer and bar. They are named for Ed Egan, who was an English-born brewer who came to Charleston in the late 1760s and started producing beer soon after. He had great success and donated large amounts of money to the American Revolution, earning him the nickname the Rebel Brewer. He actually opened a
Rebel
beer
Brewer.
supply store
Yeah.
in Goodlettsville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I get it now.
Probably a different one, though.
It might be.
Oast is an old European term for a kiln used for the drying of hops. Together, the two make the name. Edmunds Oast.
Aw.
That's
Kendall, who won that bet of him reading that correctly? Me or you?
Well, he did have that one stumble.
Yes.
One stumble.
Right.
I forget.
Distributing and donated. Big difference.
Not really. Kind of mean the same thing.
I think based on the curve for 6th grade reading ability, he's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I could be the emperor of Southern Arkansas.
I don't even see the part you guys are talking
You could
about.
be the king of Odorod for Southern Arkansas.
Did you mess up, Master?
He did.
I am the master. I'm the master reader.
Sorry.
It's all right. Pile on. Pile
Casual
on,
Friday.
buddy. Yeah.
Casual Friday.
You guys stink. You guys are Odoron.
Hey, wait a second. I didn't say anything.
I want to be vomit. I want to be
I'm
vomit.
looking right here. Kendall, you're cool.
I want to be
Julie,
vomit.
you're cool. Me too.
But in the middle,
Yeah.
no, not so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Can's empty.
Well,
There's other ones, dude. Open
There's
them
other
up.
That's like the
getting casual.
textbook definition of pick your battle. See,
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. All right. Good old Boy Kendall. Please tell us about today's flight.
I would be happy to. I love Edmunds Oast. I was first introduced to them at the Charleston editions of Nuit Belge, where the
Well, see?
restaurant and brewery both participated.
This guy, he gets around.
So some fantastic food.
Did you enjoy your time in
Unfortunately,
Charleston?
I guess that's on pause.
Charleston
this
was a
year,
fantastic city. I did love it.
See?
It's much better than Charleston, West Virginia, which is my hometown.
God, that's like you
Really?
can put anything ahead of that.
If you want to go see a lot of chemical plants, though, I do advise Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so the
Duly
Edmund
noted.
Oast Brewing Company beers we'll be tasting and discussing are Bound by Time, an India Pale Ale, Something Cold, a premium blonde ale. We have Bucket of Flowers, a Belgian-style wheat ale with orange peel and rosebuds. Pale in Comparison, a double dry-hopped American Pale Ale. The Sour Apricot Peach, an American Sour Ale with apricot and peach. And Pils, a classic German-style Pilsner.
Why?
Kendall-
Thank
Kendall-
you, good
Kendall
boy
did that
Kendall.
really well.
what's the catchphrase for Charleston, West Virginia? Home of the three-eyed
Three-eyed
fish. Yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. It's
not the
been a
holy
while.
city.
Holy city, bro. Aren't you paying attention?
Holy crap! There are 8 legs on that frog.
wow.
There you go. Now it makes sense.
Name that Odoron? I don't know.
It's like there's an Odoron from Charleston, West Virginia.
The city does have a unique
I
aroma.
was thinking that myself.
I'm sorry. We love you, Kendall. And we'll be right back after this brief interlude. Welcome back, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about a brewery takeover from Charleston, South Carolina, known as Edmunds Oast. Kendall was kind enough to give us the lineup, and now go to Boy Caperton.
Yes.
Yes.
I will be discussing. I'm going to give you guys our signature ratings that we use here on the show for the beers that we will be discussing today. These are our signature belching sounds, and as follows. A 1, that sucks. Give me anything but a bud.
Oh, Dave stepped away for a second.
What a guy.
That's all right. It's
No.
That's not it.
No. 1, Dave.
I think that's a 3.
Now I'm all off my game here.
Okay, Dave's coming back. I'm looking at the
Okay.
control board and I can't figure it out.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
special
So many
control.
buttons.
Okay.
Way to go, bro.
Could you tell?
Give me a 1.
Yeah, give him a 1.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Moving on.
A rating of 2. Was that a belch? The rating of 3. Oh, what a relief. There you go. And our highest rating. Nope. Am I skipping ahead?
Yeah.
I did. We got this week we're using the 5-step system, folks. So a 4, a rating of 4 is that body. A body should not really make that sound. This is falling apart, man. And our highest rating this week will be a 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another. Jeez.
This is karma for you ripping on me earlier.
I like how
you sealed the deal by
Caperton's completely answered the question of the
going
hour.
to take a
Did
chew
you
of
inhale?
tobacco or
Yes.
whatever you did. Go outside for a chaw.
Yeah.
Was looking for roadkill for Mike.
Left me hanging there. And I didn't even know it until I looked up. I was so in the zone and so all over it. That was going to be perfect. And then I looked up and I was like,
Dave ruined it.
okay. Kendall tried to jump into the fray. Nobody can do your job, bro.
So this is a really great flight of beer, that we had today. We were talking about this, while we were tasting, and it just Yeah, it is. So listen, if one of these styles is not your thing, wait, like until we get, because there's a wide range of styles of beer.
Yeah.
There's a hoppy beers, there's, German style beers, there's a kettle sour in here.
Fruity beers.
Did you guys get these all locally? Did you say that earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that the wit. I mean, that's a lot of things. That's a style a lot of brewers have moved away from. It's not trendy anymore. But yeah, even a blonde ale. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's get into it. So the first beer we're going to talk about is Bound by Time. It's an IPA, clocking in at 7%, with Citra, Mosaic, Dorado hops. This oat-infused olfactory explosion of a beer bursts at the seams with aromas of freshly cut cantaloupe and navel orange. Made with good old-fashioned hop bursting techniques and irresponsible dry hopping technology. Whew, ain't that the truth? Bound by Time is an offering to those looking for something brimming with hop character. And as unadulterated as a butterfly's wing.
There you go.
I like how she nailed all of the big words, Dave.
Yeah.
She forgot to say takeover earlier. Okay, so if we're gonna start slinging arrows around, I'm going at everybody. All right.
So,
Wow.
Bound by Time, great beer. I actually, I didn't taste the whole flight in the order we're going to talk about them, but I did happen to pick up this beer first, and wow, what a great opening salvo. I was like, this is super creamy. It's bright. I love the grapefruit, this nice soft finish. I was like, okay, you have my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of tropical citrus melon notes.
Yeah.
It's almost, if you've had a beer with Citra, Mosaic, and Dorado, it's kind of got those same aromas, but it's really well blended, well executed,
good proportions.
and very well proportioned. It's a great word. It's balanced and it's super creamy.
What up now, Mike? I had a great word. Okay, and Kendall said so.
He's got all the best words.
Negative.
Kendall, you get this.
There you go.
So I like the fact that usually when I see El Dorado in a hot profile, I go, yeah, that's not going to work.
No,
I like how this.
disagree.
I know,
Yeah.
but most people tend to add too much of it, and I like the fact that it's there and it's holding everything kind of together.
Maybe so.
The mosaic is really shining through, quite well on all this.
El Dorado is like Mike. A little bit goes a very long way.
I think it's got a candyish, and I mentioned to you guys while we were before the show,
Like a Belgian candy, sugary kind of thing.
Like, I don't think they call this an IPA, but it definitely
got a little haze.
It has the appearance of one, and to me, it's just really soft on the
I think the
bitterness.
oats give it a little bit of that.
Yeah,
and
I think as it's warmed, it's possibly ticked up a little bit on the bitterness, but
The Edmund Oast oats.
but it's a nice
Edmunds Oast.
The hops are the deal on this for sure.
Yeah.
This is
going
gonna
to
sound-
creamy mouthfeel.
Yeah, this is going to sound crazy, but this is a chick beer.
Whoa.
No, it is because if
Are we
you're
recording this?
It's the butterfly wings.
It's the butterfly wings, right? Followed by
Like a
unicorns
chicken?
in the background. No, chick is in girl. So
Playing it
I
off
know,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Moist.
But I know a lot of girls that
beer.
when I talk to them about beer and how like it's summer, I like IPAs, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, I don't like those. They're like sharp and acidic. And I'm like, whoa, you just haven't met an IPA that you would love.
It's fun when girls make fun of girls for being girls.
That is kind of meta. Very
First
meta.
rule is stop digging, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Something about this
I've been at
beer
the
that
bottom
I'll
of the well
say
for so long.
is that I think I had this beer before what they possibly had an expansion at this brewery. So I had this was one of the first beers that Timmy gave to me actually. And so I don't have them side by side, but I'd say that I suspected that maybe in their growth they'd lose a little bit of the quality, but this is super well done.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting my ultimate compliment. I'm finishing it and asking for more.
He is.
Yeah, this is, like everyone has said, it's really great balanced and there's no sharpness to it.
Nope.
And girls, you need to try this
Very
because
pillowy. You can have a big pillow fight.
because
with
it's
this
kind of like
Ooh.
mimosa-y.
Yep.
You know, so I know lots of girls in South Carolina like to brunch.
Bring your own pillow, girls.
This is we.
Wow.
yeah.
So the Bound by Time
That's what Caperton
from
says
Edmunds
at the beginning
Oast.
of every date.
That's right. Bring
We
your own
rated
pillow.
this a 4.
Shoot, yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah. Now, moving on, we're going to go to something cold. And this is like the perfect name for this beer. It's a blonde ale clocking in at 5% ABV. They're ultra deluxe premium blonde ale crafted with the finest barley, hand-selected hops, and superlative water. Is built for the fridge and destined for your hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Refreshment and refinement never tasted so premium. Soft malty aromas with ever so subtle hints of orchard fruit waft from its tightly knit foam cap, but the finish is clean and fast. Dry and always ultra deluxe asks for something cold when only something cold will do.
There you go.
Wow.
I think that's a good name for this beer.
Yeah. It's a good description.
Sure.
It's a nice beer. It's tasty.
It is.
It is.
Very soft.
Yeah.
It's an entry level beer for sure. If you for
soft.
somebody who just wants something cold,
thought
but I
so.
think it lends a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's also risky to hype the water in your beer. You know, it's like this is best watery
Beer's
beer,
got great water, man.
best watery beer. Although, don't get me started. But
Curious as to the type of orchard they're referring to. 'Cause I was getting a lot of lemon off of this.
yeah.
So
I wasn't getting apple.
no.
You could have a lemon orchard.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Lemons can grow in an orchard, right?
Yeah.
They do.
I don't get it now. When we freshly poured this, I think it had a little bit more of an orangey thing going on for me.
There's a nice citrus note in the background.
It's like a limoncello. It's a little sweet.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, kind of soft about it.
And you're going to get I think a lot of blondes have a little more sweetness to them as opposed to some of the, pales and IPAs where they're more hop forward.
Not
Both,
this one.
redhead.
Actually, so
Brewing.
some of my tasting notes here for something
dry.
cold, bright and crisp. And this is super clear. This is like a super clear, clean, blonde. I mean, a lot of times you'll have a blonde and the difference between a blonde and a wit, which we're going to talk about, right after this, those are really blurred lines. Here it's not. This definitely steps in and owns, the fact that they've declared this as a Belgian blonde. And, you get some of those traditional Belgian, kind of banana notes, around this. But I like the fact that it's just squeaky clean all the way through and through. I think the only thing that caught me was the dry finish. That was kind of weird.
It does finish dry after giving you that.
Open the other one, Caperton.
That little punch of malt. You think it's going to be finished way sweeter than it is because you get that kind of crackery, bready malt right there in the middle, and then it just goes away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super clean, squeaky clean, dry
I think
finish.
this is a chick beer.
I'm with Dave. Yep.
Yeah. Chicks would be
Sounds
all
different
about
coming from him.
man. This is
I don't know.
I'd be telling some chicks,
This
hey,
is
chicks,
definitely
you need to drink this chick
is a beer for somebody at the table that's going, I don't like hops. They're so
Yeah.
bitter. They're so juicy. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Because girls
Just give this to them.
Girls like cereal and girls like citrus. This has a little bit of both.
I don't like flavor,
Yeah. And then it's gone. You drink it.
but I love
and it's
beer.
gone.
All right, you convinced me. I'm opening.
Yeah.
Crack it.
Cracking it. Do it.
What do you think, Juliana?
Yeah. You guys are watching me.
Wow. I mean, after that, what does one say?
Oh, see, that does pour really nicely.
Yeah, it's super clear. I liked it a lot because it's not an overly sweet blonde, and when finding blonde beers, they tend to be a little too sweet for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they lack any
Exactly.
depth.
That was kind of my
Most are.
point.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this because there was depth to
Spoken
it.
like a true brunette.
And after having that sip and my last sip, which was room temperature, yeah, drink this cold. I mean, this is good summertime stuff.
Yeah, when it warmed up a bit, it didn't do.
It got a little grainier.
Yeah.
It got a little more, but it's super freaking clean, man, and just really easy drinker.
This is canoe-ish, on the water, summer
It's weird
activity kind
I was
of.
questioning my rating
thing.
till I had that fresh.
It's
sip.
weird.
Thanks for convincing me.
that this one is the weakest of the flight.
Yeah,
Sure.
You know, and
because
we're-
there's still a lot going on.
Yeah,
to
We're
it.
like
it's
waxing
still,
on.
it's
about
still
how good
for
it
a
is.
blonde pretty complex.
Yeah.
But compared to everything else, it is the least complex.
Yep.
Well, I think that's part of the style. Though,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
You want less from a blonde. Wow.
Really?
Blonde ale.
Thank you.
know, we have lower expectations of complexity. You just want a clean beer that's a little malty sweet,
Yep.
and then it goes away.
Yeah.
We are talking about beers, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note, something cold from Edmunds Oast. We rated this a 3.
Yay, Edmunds Oast.
Okay. Now I'm going to the garden for this one.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Bucket of Flowers. It's a Belgian style wheat ale with orange peel and rosebuds. And when I saw that, it immediately took me. I know. It took me to the movie. So this
hate that
is.
movie.
It was a freaking sled.
It was a great movie. 5% ABV. This is their homage to the Belgian wheat beer brewing tradition. Pilsner malt, wheat, oats, orange zest, and rosebuds.
Rosebuds. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say I really liked this beer. As a Saison lover, this wasn't, but it kind of, it knocked at the door a little
Yeah.
bit, just in the adjunct sort of stuff.
And it's got that hint of the Belgian yeast going on.
Belgian
you
yeast.
definitely get that banana on the finish.
I think you have to be super careful using flowers like rose or lilac or stuff that makes you think of Granny's perfume,
Well, so much of that, those kind of things are very aromatically driven.
Yep.
And they don't really add a whole lot of taste, and they're so fleeting,
Yeah.
Every time that, people talk about, especially using, flour components, I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not going to taste that or smell it.
The rose is more on the nose. The orange is more on the taste.
I
think.
definitely
And-
picked up.
and the
on the
yeast.
nose. I agree.
Rose is on the nose.
I actually wrote down tropical fruit, almost like an ambrosia, kind of thing going on with this.
That stuff with the marshmallows and the ambrosia salad.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's with the coconut and the.
So my full tasting note
Schmear.
here for Bucket of Flowers was tasty, crushable.
Yeah.
This is something you're going to drink an awful lot of. It's like pitcher
All of
time.
these beers so far. For sure.
I like the subtle, tropical fruit kind of thing that's going on through this, but it's interesting how it kind of translated. I actually wrote down fruit stripe gum, finish on the.
Oh, I see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Juliana?
I really dug it. And, wheat beers, you either love them or you hate them. And
Really?
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
A or B?
And for the most part, I don't like them because they're so clovey, a lot of times that I just can't.
Well, so the giant macro beer, that rhymes with rock
Would
top,
be yeast derived, wouldn't it?
is definitely, I think, where this is going after much better beer than the macro, version, and which is really very orange forward, for the style.
I think the weed is
Yeah.
what's given everybody this sort of like citrusy, fruity thing. The yeast for sure is really kind of balanced in there. I just love this beer.
I'm not a huge fan of this style
Yeah.
myself, but this one I like because it is sort of laid back and it's not as up in your face.
Well, see, I kind of agree with you, even though I'd say I love this style when it's done well.
Yeah.
And because if
me
you
too.
screw up a wit
Yeah.
or a Belgian wheat, it's just not going to be a good beer at all. But you nail it.
We're
it's
going
such
to
a good
barbecue
drink.
you. Yeah. If you make a crappy wit beer. Yeah.
So traditionally, the wit would be. Oh, we were going to discuss that, wouldn't it? It would be orange peel and coriander.
Coriander,
Right,
yeah.
Right. There's no coriander in this.
No.
Yeah. So that's one key component between the macro version.
But they subbed it's a nice, it's
I think it's better.
It's a fuzzy
and more
distinction
subtle.
there. Yeah.
I think there's a lot more elegance to this than the macro version wheat.
Well, that coriander, people can use that too.
Way too much.
It's hard to get it right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think by using the rose,
Buds.
yes, the rosebuds, you're making the grain come out more. You know what I mean? Because I think I've just had some bad wheats in the past where it's like too spicy or, something like that. And it makes me want to stay away from them because I think that they're all like that.
Oh.
But this is,
I'm sorry to hear that. Phil. I really like wheat beers.
well, it's a love or hate thing.
Taking
You know
it
what I mean?
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess.
sorry. But this makes me want to try more because this is so balanced. And for a simple beer, meaning like not overly dry hop, blah, 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 it is very elegant.
Well, I think they probably had to control the fermentation temperature too pretty well because the esters and everything, have not just exploded all over.
they're subtle.
I think the oats were a nice addition to this as well.
Yeah.
Which is what
Edmunds oats are really good.
Which is their calling card. Go figure. Well, we rated Bucket of Flowers by Edmunds Oast a 4.
Which is our top rating.
And we will be right back with more reviews in just a minute. Welcome back.
Masterful.
Today is a star-spangled event.
Masterful.
Really?
Gosh, yes. So, for those of you just tuning in, what took you so long?
Yeah.
But that's okay. We're not here to judge. We are talking about a beautiful brewery from Charleston, South Carolina. We're doing a takeover of Edmunds Oast beers. Thank you for coming to Nashville, by the way.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think who this flight reminds me of. This is a interesting clone, I think, of Black Abbey in Nashville, Tennessee. Very Belgian forward.
Yeah.
Aside from the kettle sour that we have in the lineup, are very close to some of the same style beers, which we have enjoyed an awful lot of Black Abbey, over a long period of time. But it's interesting always, when you think about some of those subtle comparisons between some of those beers, which we've had an awful lot of, and some of these beers here in the Edmunds Oast, that squeaky clean, finish. That is something. Yeah,
I think we may only be getting two different yeasts here. I think they have a Belgian yeast, obviously, and a lager yeast or something.
But you know what? That's okay though.
I mean, that's like Black Abbey.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but that's okay.
I just kept on,
it is.
I kept on thinking, I've had these style beers in other flights, and who else, has some similar lineup, and that one, I think it's pretty quick and came to mind. So,
while the idea of having a varied yeast availability to a brewery, I do like. I think that narrowing those yeasts down can give you a character to hang on to for a brewery like Black Abbey. There's a commonality to those beers.
There is.
That when you drink one, you sort of know what it is.
Sure. And if you're in a blind tasting, you can pick it out and say, yep.
Sorry about that.
There's my BA. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that coupled with them adding oats, in their grist is their nice little calling card.
Nice little touch.
Which has really helped. Yeah. All right. Speaking of which, let's talk about another beer. And now we're going to go into Pales in Comparison. Yeah. It's a DDH. I like saying that. American Pale Ale, 5%. It is double dry hopped American Pale using exclusively German grown Amarillo. It took me a minute to wrap that around my head. Yeah. That's the T45 pellet hops. And that's all that they said. And you know what? That's okay. Because
T45, T46, whatever it takes.
Right. Exactly.
This beer,
aren't
they
those models of. Aren't those light speed or X-wing fighters or some kind of Star Wars craft? The T45, the T46.
Nerd alert! Nerd alert! Nerd alert!
Wasn't Luke Wampin getting the Womp Rats?
Whoa! I don't want to hear about what Luke's wamping. Okay,
a lot of wamping going on.
Yeah. This is a family show, Kendall.
Kendall's looking it up furiously. Like
I was
a
actually
true,
looking
like
for
a true
food.
Star Wars nerd.
When we first tasted this beer, this was actually my favorite of the flight.
Okay.
I think the
right.
lemony flavors that come out from those hops.
I'm fond of the pale ale.
Yeah. A really well-made pale ale.
It is,
a
man.
beautiful thing.
It is. And there are some letters there that don't usually lend themselves too well to the pale ale, right?
DDH.
You use that much hopping. At what point does it become an IPA? You know, we've asked this question many times before. This is a solid pale ale.
Are you saying the dry hopping on this one was done more responsibly than
I think so.
on the
Somehow it works. You know, I mean, there was
Always
just
hop responsibly.
Yeah. I like how they did this, guys.
Wow.
I mean, I think they avoided the IPA trap. Here. Yeah.
Okay, the little fun fact for the T45.
Okay.
Yeah. So the McConnell Douglas, which for flying nerds, you all know that it's now Boeing. The T45
Oh, yeah, of course I knew that.
Go Shock is a highly modified version of the British BAE Systems Hawk that is land-based training jet aircraft.
Cool story,
So
bro.
it may not be Star Wars, but it is U.S. Navy. So there's that.
That's cool. Yeah. This beer's good though.
Top Gun, baby. Top Gun.
You know, my notes that I wrote down is these German Amarillo hops taste very different than what you would get
Very
from say,
German.
Yakima
Yeah.
Valley.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you get some of that German terroir. I thought they were a little minty at first, and it's like you don't get minty in American Amarillo hops.
No. And the floral component on it is like so different than Amarillo.
It is. You're right about that. I do get a little bit of cattiness maybe that I get like in the typical Amarillo profile.
But it's so much more subtle compared
It
to
is. It's super drinkable for sure.
yeah.
Well, this is a great beer, but I had a difficulty matching up the beer description with what was in the glass. So what was in the glass I really loved, but
Right.
first off, I actually thought this was a dead ringer for a lager because it was so crisp. And it just had a very crisp presentation of the hops and the finish both. If you had told me this was a lager, I would have bought it lock, stock, and barrel and said, absolutely, I believe this is a lager. So really tough for me to, step up and say,
What have they done to you, Mike?
well, so I think of APAs as probably being
You've been drinking that bourbon too much,
You've been
man.
drinking these IPAs so much.
I thought that
What
for an
have
APA,
they done to you?
I think most APAs are probably a lot sweeter than this, and I think the hop presentation is very different than what this is. So,
Yeah.
again, I had difficulty buying that this was a very typical APA. Is it a great beer? Absolutely. Yeah. I love what's in the glass. I thought that the description of a double dry hopped, APA, it just, I don't know, did not hook up with me.
It's more balanced than the label would indicate.
Because most of them are unbalanced.
Right. Yeah. You would say it's too bitter, too whatever. This is
Just threw it all out of whack. But somehow
you can grab a six of this and go by the pool and have a blast, man.
those Germans, they
Yeah.
know how to do hops,
I
man.
love their pools.
Yeah.
Well, the pales in comparison from Edmunds Oast, we rated a 4.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Great beer. Yeah.
And I'm going to say this just as a little sidebar to what we're tasting. These, in theory, these are simple beers, easy to make and
Easy to screw up.
but easy to screw
Exactly.
up. Right.
Yeah.
So, head brewer, I don't know who you are, and I'm sorry that I don't know who you are, but I really appreciate the dedication that you're making to making these beers.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of love and there's a lot of thought that's going into this, because a lot of these styles can be so easily made and like cheapened, for lack of a better word. But there's nothing about that in any of these.
No.
Yeah, that was a comment that I had, in our tasting, is that the maturity of these recipes and the quality of these beers, it tastes like they've they've had these recipes. They fine tuned them 20 plus times. I mean, they totally have this dialed in. Whatever rig they're making this on, it is just like super squeaky clean all the way through and through. I mean, every one of these beers stands alone as just really very high quality. And all of us said that, we were like, these are the quality of these beers are just very well made. So I'm glad you said something, because that was something that, the brewery should really feel good, kind of across the board as they're making these. There wasn't like a sloppy one in the middle. We were like, oh, you just kind of faked your way through that one. They were all good.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned they're really nice to look at too. Very simple artwork on the black and white.
Can art is really high on my list.
It's nice.
It is, because it's subtle, right?
It is subtle.
Stop it.
It's not like it's cartoon characters and like bright colors or anything,
but it's letting the beer
it's classy.
speak for itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's black and white.
It is.
Classy.
Okay.
Like me.
Yeah.
Beer for reverend people.
Yeah. Okay.
You classy.
All right. Moving on. Time crunch.
We got to get it done.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the sour apricot peach.
Sure.
It's an American sour ale with apricot and peach. 6.5% ABV. Their series of fruited American sour ales come from a love of fresh fruit flavors combined with mouth-watering acidity. They take the same golden sour base beer and re-ferment it with different fruit combinations. This one in particular is apricot and peach that meld perfectly together. So much so, it's hard to tell where one begins and the other one ends. Explosive fruit notes are rubbed on the glass, and one is left with a quench thirst, yet thirsty for more.
Yeah, I know it was explosive.
I don't think Mike is going to agree with me, but I think that's a spot-on description of this beer. I think it's kind of funny. I want to point out that they've changed kettle sour to American sour.
Yeah, that's all right.
And that's okay. That's okay. But that's what this is, right?
You hear me shaking my head.
Yeah.
But I thought it was way more apricot than peach, but I think some of you got more peach.
I got more peach on the nose and more apricot in the taste.
To me, I get apricot in the front and peach in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a mullet.
Exactly.
Like a mullet.
A stone fruit mullet.
All right. So I was in the minority. I did not enjoy this beer. And so part of it was we actually tasted another beer from a different brewery, completely different brewery, completely different process.
We started with
it was really totally unfair.
Barrel aged,
barrel aged,
sort of as our appetizer.
Fermentation beer, totally very peachy. I mean, this thing was amped up to like 13, on
can't
a 10
compare
scale.
that to a kettle sour.
And all of a sudden, this got handed to me within like the same 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, we've just dialed this back to 3. This is incredibly muted.
So this would be a good point for me to add to an earlier rant that was off mic. That's why you have to fruit these things, man. These kettle sours, because I think the beer we had achieved those flavors that it achieved.
Because it had whole fruit.
Because it had no fruit.
No fruit.
No fruit.
So it was all skillful, fermentation. So this is a quicker way for sure. And as a result, you have to add the complexity to this beer with fruit.
This just tastes like, a blended fruit juice.
It does taste really juicy.
Definitely now as it was warmed up,
But it's got a nice tartness, I think.
If there was anything that I would tell them to just kick out, this is not your jam, this would be it. I would say.
I like this.
I love the Belgian and German style, pieces that you have in the flight. This I could have completely done without.
I'm going to fight you after this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to fight you too.
I think we all disagree, but you're right on the tartness. It's just, there, but it's not overwhelming.
It's not like super sour. It's just like the description says, just enough to make you want another one.
It's not going to take the enamel off your
lip
teeth.
smacking.
Just kind of like a sweet tart,
I think
but not even a
apricot
tart.
sort of picks up on that and sort of drives it in.
Whatever, dude.
That's right. Smack them lips, boy.
I absolutely adore this beer. And what I like about it, I'm sorry, I do. Because kettle sours can be so acidic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything that's with them, you're kind of tasting that acidity throughout.
That's all you're doing, really.
Right.
Is you're just making acidic.
Just tart for tart's sake.
Yeah.
Right. And that you don't let anything else shine.
Yeah.
But with this, and apricots to me are so
They do
hard
play well together.
to to do well without them almost coming off as vegetal, especially if you're in like a kettle sour base. I don't keep looking at me like that.
I give you that Scooby look like, oh.
I'm just saying, I'm completely enamored by this. So don't listen to what Mike says.
I'm not completely
Listen to
enamored,
the
but
rest of
I get
it.
what you're saying.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think this is beautiful. And the apricots are done well.
It's a really good kettle sour,
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
So the sour apricot peach.
What a chore for
God.
Mike. He's over here like,
No.
You know
it's too
what?
late. It's already in. It's in you. It's part of you now.
We're not talking about Mike, but the rest of us adored this beer.
All
and,
the people at this table.
yeah, and
I
we
liked it. I liked it.
and
I'm
we
not gonna say
rated
it.
this a 4.
Sure. I did give this a solid 4.
I did not.
All right. Now
And we don't care. No, I'm just kidding.
for the coup de grace.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this one that we're going to talk about, I can't even.
This one here.
Yeah, this one here
This one here.
is the Pils, the German style Pils, 4.5%.
German
A
Pils.
German style Pilsner made with 100% German bark Pils malt, Hallertau, and a German lager yeast.
Yep.
Okay, this is the belle of the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, it was.
Oh, we have agreement.
No,
Yes.
no fruit puree in this sucker.
That's right.
I just wrote down. This smells like a German Pils. It tastes like a German Pils.
Well,
this
yes.
is
Look how
classic
Freaking
German
clear
Pils.
this beer is. It's like
Crystal.
I can see the future through this thing.
And this was solid. It was squeaky clean. I love the clean finish. It was good German beer. I loves it.
Noble hops really do their thing here. I mean, this
perfect.
is this is a delicious beer.
Even
flavored
as it
beer.
warms up, it still tastes.
I know,
wonderful.
right?
I can't begin to tell you how many crappy pills we've had, and this is exactly where people need to land with this. This
This
would do
beer could
well.
make you get hooked on pills.
nice and dry. I mean,
Yeah.
I could drink a ton of this.
Yes.
I mean, I could. This is what I've been wanting.
I mean, this is, they've been saying that Pilsners have been coming back around, and I totally, when
Yeah.
you have something as beautiful as this and it's made in the States,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about it getting skunky from crossing over.
You almost want to name
almost-
it good old
It's
boy
almost
Dave.
better than German Pils because it's
Yes.
fresh.
I'm buying
Right.
this on the way home.
Exactly. This
I'm
is
buying this. I am. I'm
absolutely
gonna buy this on the way home.
stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And
I'm
So
stunned.
better than your Guelph unfiltered?
What's that?
Better than Pilsner Urquell unfiltered?
Well, that's pretty good
That's a
when it's
different-
3 days
yeah,
old.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
anyways.
This is good, though.
Okay.
Well, what do we-
so,
what do we
yeah,
Our
give this?
SUDS rating.
the pills were rating a 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That was
Well
seemed
done.
longer than
Very
normal.
good.
That's what she said.
Yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Edmunds Oast, for what
Hats
you
off,
do.
Edmunds
Yes.
Oast.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up for today's SUD segment. You can always find us where you found this episode, as well as radio, satellite, online at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and nearly any place you listen to a podcast. The easiest way to find the show on your phone is to ask Alexa, Siri, or Google, play podcast Sip Suds and Smokes.
We love your feedback. We can't get enough of that stuff. You can always reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram every day. Our Twitter handle is @SipSudSmokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
Please take the time to rate this episode if you're listening online.
Give it a 5.
Kendall, please tell us about your blog.
My beautiful wife and I blog about the good news of good beer at beermakes3.com.
Well, it's the time that we say goodbye. Good old boy Dave, what do you got to say?
Hello.
Of course you would.
Freaking duds.
Good old boy Kendall.
We got any pills left?
Yeah.
We're going to have it for the after show.
We got a handful of pills.
Good old boy Mike.
Come back, join us for another exciting episode of Sip Suds and Smokes. I'll ask you to keep on sipping.
Good old boy Caperton.
This was great. It's always fun.
This is good old Gal Julieanna. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep on chuggling and catch you next time.
More pills.
Bye.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.